We will continue looking at the meanings of Vishnu Sahasranamam. You have now completed learning the Nyasam section. So let's take a look at the meaning of this. Before that, let me just give you again the introduction on what Nyasam is. All rituals start in Hinduism with a beautiful function, the installation of the Lord in the devotee's own physical form. This is technically called as Anganyasa and Karanyasa, the installation in the limbs and installation in the palm. This is a method by which the seeker, with willful thoughts and deliberate physical signs, like touching parts of his body with his hand, sanctifies himself to be a divine temple and installs the various sacred deities in himself. When the nyasa is done, the power of letters of the mantra, which is presided over by a particular deity, passes into those parts of the body where it is done. The body of the person doing this gets purified. The Nyasa portion of the Vishnu Sahasranamam is not there in the original Mahabharata, nor in the text of the stotram used in North India. However, Pandits of ritualism in South India employ the Anganyasa, and it being such a beautiful act and so very helpful to the seekers, it has been added to the Vishnu Sahasranamam. So now let's take a look at the meaning of each of the line of the Nyasam. Okay. So the first is asya Sri Vishnu divya sahasranama stotra maha mantrasya. So when you're saying this, the action is with your right hand fingers, you touch the forehead. So what this means is, following are the representations or characteristics for the sacred mantra of the 1,000 names of Mahavishnu. Maha mantrasya Sri Vishnu divya sahasranama stotra. Next, the characteristic that is identified is who is the rishi associated with this, the sage or the seer. So here it's Sri Vedavyaso Bhagavan Rishihi. The sage is Vedavyasa, who noted the 1,000 names as they were revealed by Bhishma to Yudhishthira. And at this portion, you touch your 3 fingers of your right hand. You also touch the forehead for the rishi. Next characteristic is the chandas or the meter, which we covered in the last session. Sahasranamam is written in Anushtup Chandas. So here it says Anushtup Chandaha. The meter of the slokam is Anushtup, which has 32 syllables per slokam, with each pada having 8 syllables. And because it is the meter, you touch your mouth when you say this. Next is the devata or the deity who is being worshipped. Sri Mahavishnu Paramatma Sriman Narayano Devata. The deity of worship is Mahavishnu, Sriman Narayana. Now those of you who do Gayatri Japam during, when you change the sacred thread, you might be doing Gayatri Japam. You might remember the priest will tell you to touch the forehead, the Gayatri mantra, right? So you'll say Vishwamitra is the rishi for the Gayatri mantra. So you would touch your forehead with your 3 fingers. And then you would touch your mouth, and the chandas or the meter is Gayatri. And then you would touch with your 3 fingers your heart, where the deity is, because the Paramatma is always behind the heart. And for Gayatri mantra, Savita Devata, you would say. So anyway, the ceremony is coming up soon, next week actually. So when you do it, you can keep this in mind, as when you touch the forehead for the rishi, you touch the mouth for the meter, and then you touch the heart for the deity that you're worshipping. So this is similar here, where Vedavyaso is the rishi, Anushtup is the chandas, and Mahavishnu Sriman Narayana is the devata being worshipped. Now, those are the 3 that we do when we do the Gayatri Japam. But in Nyasa, there is a lot more that follows. So the next characteristic is the bijam. Bijam, the seed or the cause. And when you say this, you're supposed to touch the navel. Now we don't do that when we chant the Sahasranamam, but associated with each of these characteristics is the different parts of the body that you should touch. So the bijam, seed or the cause, amritam shrudbhavo bhanuriti bijam. The seed or cause is Sri Krishna, the one who was born in the lunar race. So here amritamshu udbhavaha bhanu. When the Milky Ocean, Ksheerasagara, was being churned, one of the things that came out along with the nectar, Amritamshu, was the moon, Bhanu. So Sri Krishna is known to be born in the lunar race, while Rama was born in the Surya Kulam. But though Rama was born in Surya Kulam, his name always has Ramachandra at the end of it because his face is so cool and pleasing as the moon. But Krishna was born in the lunar race and Rama was born in the solar race. The next characteristic is Shaktihi, the strength. Devaki Nandanaha Shrashteti Shaktihi. Or Devaki Nandanaha Shrashta Iti Shakti. Iti Shakti, the strength. Its strength is, of this slokam, is Sri Krishna, the one who gave joy, Nandanaha, to his mother, Devaki. Devaki Nandanaha, which is Sri Krishna. Next characteristic, Mantraha, the mantra. Udbhavaha Shobhano Deva iti Paramo Mantraha. The mantra is the one, the Lord, who removes all our repeated births. Udbhavaha Shobhano Deva is that Lord who removes all our repeated births. And here, because it's a mantra, you're supposed to touch the mouth. Kilakam. Kilakam is the pin or the nail, something that's nailed to. Shankabrin Nandaki Chakri iti Kilakam. The nail or the pin is the divine conch, Shankabrit, the sword, Nandaki, and the discus, Chakra. Next characteristic is Astram, the weapon. Sharanga Dhanva Gadadhara iti Astram. The weapon is the one who holds the bow called Sharanga and the mace Gada. So Vishnu's bow is called Sharanga. Next characteristic is the netram or the eyes. Rathanga pani rakshobhya iti netram. The eyes are the one who holds the chakram, Rathanga panihi. So what this means is the protective grace of the Lord represents his eyes and it protects us. Next characteristic is kavacham. Tri sama samagaha sameti kavacham. The armor is the great Lord who is glorified in the three types of Sama songs, Trisama. Basically, it means that he is the one who is glorified in the Sama Veda. Anandam para brahmeti yonihi. The womb is the Anandam, the bliss of the Supreme Brahman from which the universe has emerged out. Digbandhaha. Digbandhaha means the different directions. Rutus Sudarshana Kala iti Digbandhaha. The hazards from all the sides, Digbandhaha, are thwarted by Ritam, truth, Sudarshana, the Lord's chakram, and Kala, time. Dhyanam, contemplation, Vishwarupa iti Dhyanam. The Dhyanam, characteristic of this stotram, is the contemplation of the Vishwarupam, the universal form of Sriman Narayana. Sri Mahavishnu Preetyarte Sri Sahasranama Jabe Viniyogaha. So now, having in the previous step, having installed the Lord in all the different parts of the body of the worshipper and having coming under the protecting wing of the mighty Lord, the worshipper declares that Sri Mahavishnu Preetyarte Sri Sahasranama Jabe Viniyogaha. He is going to engage himself, Viniyogaha, in Japa, Jape, of the 1,000 names, Sri Sahasranama, for the sake of what? For Sri Mahavishnu Preetyarte, for getting the grace of Sri Mahavishnu. So this is the Nyasa procedure that is there, that is getting us now prepared to chant 1,000 names by installing various parts of the deity in our body and purifying us and making us ready for worship. Following this, there will be some dhyana slokams, which are more slokams for contemplation, which we will start to look at the meaning of in the next session. And after that, the actual 1,000 names will start. Okay. Thank you very much for listening.
Asya Sri Vishnu divya sahasranama stotra maha mantrasya Shri Vedavyaso Bhagavan Rishihi Anushtup Chandaha Shri Mahavishnu Paramatma Shriman Narayano Devata Amritam Shudbhavo Bhanuriti Bijam Devaki Nandana Srashteti Shaktihi Udbhavah Kshobhano Deva iti Paramo Mantraha Shankha Brinnandaki Chakriti Kilakam Sharngadhanva Gadadhara Ityastram Rathangapani Rakshobhya iti Netram Trisama Samagassameti Kavacham Anandam Parabrahmeti Yonihi Ritusudarshana Kala iti Digbandhaha Shri Vishwarupa iti Dhyanam Shri Mahavishnu Prityarthe Sri Sahasranama Jape Viniyogaha